Hey guys, hope you're doing fine. In this video, I will show you some 5 master tips that you should know on ZBrush. So let's get started. And the first one you should know is Morph Target. So if you don't use it, you will. So I will show you how. So for that example, I'm using my crocodile, which has some subdivisions, okay? And what I want to do now is I want to get a state, the current state of this model, and I will show you why. So I'm going to Morph Target here, and I'm going to click on Store Morph Target. So now I've stored this crocodile, so now everything I will do will be saved in my Morph Target. So what I can do now is, for example, I will use some move, okay? I will check if my symmetry is on, and I can move some things, for example, like that. And okay, and maybe I will go full with the mouse. Okay, so really I will distort him. Okay, but just for the record. Okay, so I will move that. And now what I'm gonna do is I can switch back to see what I've done. Okay, so I've destroyed this guy, but it's just for for the purpose of this video. So I'm gonna click on switch and look at that. So that's what the moment I save my morph target, and now I can switch back and forth. Okay, so I can come back where I've ended. And now what I can do, if I can click on morph, and I can go in one direction and in another one. So if I'm going to 100, I go back to what I've done till the end. And if I come back to 0, you can see, okay. So it's very funny to do. If I'm not okay with what I've done, I can click on switch and come back to my original mesh and delete. Okay. I will show you another thing that I can do. I can do a lot. I can click still on store empty. I will take my standard brush and I will use maybe an alpha, this one for example. Okay, so I will create something okay like that. Well, maybe push my intensity. Okay, let's do something like that. And it's like just before. I can switch back. Okay, and what I can do is I can come back and add. So I have really control over what I'm doing. So you can do a lot of things. You can just paint the texture and then try to see if it's too much or not, and you can come back. The other cool thing is, for example, I'm staying at 0. Okay, what I've done, I can click on create diff, and what it's going to do, it will make me a new tool with all the things that I've done. So for example, I will click on create diff, and now look at that. I have a morph difference. What I've sculpted is here now. So that's really cool. So you can basically create a, I can sculpt Nicolas on it, and I will have Nicolas. Okay. So that's great. And there one thing that is really, really amazing. So now, for example, I've done too much. I wanted to stop here. I don't have really control. It's 0 or 1, so I can have everything or nothing, or I can go between, but I want just to cut some parts, and that's where they done a really great brush for that. So if I press M, I can choose now the morph one, and look at that. I'm going here and I will press and I can remove by hand. So just for that, yeah, that's one of my favorite feature in ZBrush. And if I'm fine with what I've done, what I can do now is I can press delete, and now I'm my mesh is now this. So just when you just get again, when you still have the morph target brush, the rest say, be careful, be careful. So okay, I'm changing to standard brush, and that's it. So I have my model with what I've done, and I've saved them, so that's fine for that. So morph target is really, really a great feature. But now let's see feature number 2. Now we'll talk about frame mesh. It's an amazing tool which is really working with curve, and you will see why. I will do something really funny. So for that example, I will put on my polyframe, and I will cut in half my object. So what I will do is like that, Control V to set a new polygroup. So I have two polygroups, and now what I have to do is I'm going to stroke, and you have curve function here. So what you can do is you can click on that button called frame mesh, and you can frame with borders, polygroup, or creased edges. For now, I'm only using polygroups, and it's working fine, but I can do that with border of a mesh or with creased edges. If you have edges with crease, you can press and it will frame them. So, for example, what is a framing in ZBrush? I will show you. I click here, and now I have a path, as you can see, dots, and now I'm using an EMM, so I will click on I, and I will choose EMM curve, okay, here. So maybe you've seen that already. You can jump in on choose the one pattern you want to repeat. I will go for link bracelet link, and I will click here, and look at that. It did both because I have a frame in the inside and the outside. If I want to reduce the size, I have to just in the outside of my mesh can reduce the size, raw size of my brush. I click again, click left, and I come back and I click here, and it's reducing. And as you can see, I like this one because it always has a wow effect on people I'm teaching that brush. My next tip is how to use Nanomesh, and I will show you what it is. It's an instance, so you can generate one mesh in multiple times. So how can I do that? The first thing is I'm gonna do that on my ring, but I'm gonna choose like a cone. It could be the mesh that I will use to generate all over this one. So I'm clicking on cone, okay? I will stay with this one, it's fine. And I will click on make polymesh 3D, okay? I'm going up because that's where you need, that's what you need to do if you want to create an insert mesh, okay? So I will stay on top and I will click on insert mesh and I will say new. I don't want to open it on my current brush. I want to create a new brush. So I'm selecting new. Okay, so now I'm saying that I have my insert mesh, okay? And now I will come back to this panel and I will create a Nanomesh brush like that. Okay. So for this one, you need to know a little bit of the ZModeler or just follow me. So now I'm coming back to my ring over there. And now if I'm like I did, I have a Nanomesh brush, I have my ZModeler activated. So if I press on the space button, I have my Nanomesh. What is it? On each polygon, if I'm pressing on holding, I can generate this one, this guy. But the fun part is that I can display this on all the polygons. But for that, you should avoid to have millions of polygons, okay? Otherwise, it would crash. Try to have low poly meshes, and that's how it works. So I will stay on this polygon, and I'm gonna use all polygons, not a single poly as a target, but all polygons, and that's working. Okay, as you can see, it's getting really fun. Okay, so we have the wow effect, but we can do a little bit more. So now I can open this Nanomesh entry here, and I can, for now it's just a preview, so I can disable it on off like that. What I can do now, I can edit my mesh, so I can change a little bit and it will be displayed on all the instances, so that's really great. And I have another thing I can do, I can play with the random distribution. Look at that. I can do a random distribution and the seed, so I can change it. So that's really funny to do something like that. So you have something less geometrical, less perfect. And if I want now to have a real strong mesh, I can go to inventory. I don't know why they put that name, but that's okay. And you click on one to mesh. And now, as you can see, I have my mesh full of triangles, and I can play with them. And if you want to get those triangles out of the original form, you can go to split, group split, say okay, and now we have them on separate subtools. Now I will show you maybe the tip that is getting the most wow effect. So I will show you what it is. So I'm gonna remove that spine, okay? And what I need is to have square polygons, at least in this part. It will work less good over there, but I will show you what it is. So now I have my subtool here. I'm gonna go to geometry and I will go to dynamic subdiv. If you've never used that before, if you press on dynamic here, it just adding as a preview two subdivision levels. So if I'm pressing dynamic, okay, so everything is smoothed, okay? But that's not what we want to do. We want to activate a micropoly, and that's something. So I'm gonna press on micropoly, and when you press that, you have a lot of patterns that are all built on square, okay? So when I'm gonna press something, it's gonna, like a seamless texture, it will be displayed all over my form. So if I'm choosing night, for example, look at that. Watch. Not bad. And for the record, I've printed it in 3D. This kind of pattern. It's very funny to do. I put a solid ring inside, and outside I used this pattern, and I can choose another one if I want. So you can try. So that's how you can do chain links, for example, for armor or thing like that. And you have really nice pattern. I bet you can find more on internet. You have scales also, and there you can change the scale if you want. You can change the rotation, so we can really do some adjustments. Not as much as the Nanomesh, but it's already nice. And if you want to have thinner details, you can just use the smooth subdivide. So if I go 1, for example, it's twice smaller. Wow, hard to say, than before. So for example, look at that. For jewelry, I like that. And for the final master tips number 5, I will show you how to make a coin really funny with a crocodile, a profile of a crocodile. So how I'm gonna do? So for that, so I'm gonna change. Okay, for I want another brush. So I will put my crocodile around the center of my canvas, and I'm gonna use alpha. I'm gonna go on the menu alpha, and I'm gonna go on make 3D bas relief. So I will go on alpha menu and will open bas relief, and I will choose make bas relief. So when I will click, it will generate me an alpha image of my crocodile. So let's go and look at that. I have depth inside, so I will be able to have some cool depths when I will project it on any surface. So how can I do a coin? I will do something really fast. So for example, I will open a cylinder, okay, like that. I'm gonna make it as a polymesh 3D. I don't really like how it's shaped with the like that, so I will just change its scale, okay, like that, and I'm gonna use Z remesher. I will activate detect edges, so I want something cleaner, and I will click on Z remesher. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it's better, and I will press Ctrl D to add some geometry, or pressing divide 2 times. I will go up to 4 million to have something really clean. Okay, so I have my coin. I can do better with borders, but okay, I will just stick with that. So I have the standard brush activated, I have the drag rake mode, and I have my alpha. Last thing you will see, it can be tricky. So I will I have an intensity quite strong, so let's see with 25 for example, and I can project my crocodile, and it's working. But as you can see, we have like a repetition. So if you want to remove that, you can just go down with the focal shift to -100, and now it will be better. Okay, with that, and now as you can see, I have a coin, maybe a little bit too much in depth, but that's how you can do. And don't forget, if you want to start ZBrush on and remember, if you want to start ZBrush easily, you can download my free pack where you have my user interface and my shortcuts to help you starting in a good way ZBrush. See you later, guys!